For today's video, we're going to talk about agrarian reform in the Philippines. First, what is agrarian reform? Agrarian reform is also known as the Agricultural Land Reform Code Republic Act 3844 was a major Philippine land reform law enacted in 1963 under President Diosdado Macapagal to make the small farmers more independent, self-reliant, and responsible citizens, and a source of genuine strength in our democratic society.
History of Agrarian Reform in the Philippines.
Spanish period, united we stand, divided we fall. When the Spaniards came to the Philippines, the concept of encomienda, royal land grants, was introduced. This system grants that encomenderos must defend his encomienda from external attack, maintain peace and order within, and support the missionaries. In turn, the encomendero acquired the right to collect tribute from the Indios native. The system, however, degenerated into abuse of power by the encomenderos. The tribute soon became land rents to a few powerful landlords, and the native who once cultivated the land in freedom were transformed into mere shared tenants. First Philippine Republic. The yoke has finally broken. When the First Philippine Republic was established in 1899, General Emilio Aguinaldo declared in the Malolos Constitution his intention to confiscate large estates, especially the called friars' land. However, as the Republic was short-lived, Aguinaldo's plan was never implemented. American period. Long live America. Significant legislation enacted during the American period. Philippine Bill of 1902 set the ceiling on the heritage of private individuals, and corporations may inquire 16 has for private individuals and 1024 has for corporations. Land Registration Act of 1902, Act number 496 provided for a comprehensive registration of land titles under the torrent system. Public Land Act 1903 introduced the homestead system in the Philippines. Tenancy Act of 1933, Act number 4054 and 4113 regulated the relationship between landowners and tenants of rice, 50-50 sharing, and sugarcane lands. The torrent system, which the American institution for the recruitation of lands, do not solve the problem completely. Either they were not aware of law, or if they could not pay the survey, cost, and other fees required in applying for a tenant's title. Commonwealth period. Government for the Filipinos. President Manuel L. Quezon exposed the social justice program to arrest the increasing social unrest in Central Luzon. Significant legislation enacted during Commonwealth period. 1935 Constitution, the promotion of social justice to ensure the well-being and economic security of all people should be the concern of the state. Commonwealth Act number 178, an amendment to Rice Tenancy Act number 4045, November 13, 1936, provided for certain controls in the landlord-tenant relationships. National Rice and Corporation, NARIC, 1936 established the price of rice and corn, thereby helped the poor tenants as well as consumers. Commonwealth Act number 4611937 specified reason for the dismissal are tenants and only with the approval of the Tenancy Division of the Department of Justice. Rural Program and Administrations created March 2, 1939, provided the purchase and lease of haciendas and their sales and lease to the tenants. Commonwealth Act number 441 enacted on June 3, 1939 created the National Settlement Administration with the capital stock of 20 million. Japanese occupation, the era of Hook Balahap. The Second World War II started in Europe in 1939 and in the Pacific in 1941. Hook Balahap controlled hook areas of Central Luzon. Landlords who supported the Japanese lost their lands to peasants, while those who supported the Hooks earned fixed rentals in favor of the tenants. Unfortunately, the end of war also signaled the end of gains acquired by the peasant. Upon the arrival of the Japanese in the Philippines in 1942, peasant and workers' organization grew strength. Many peasants took up arms and identified themselves with the anti-Japanese group on the Hukbalahap, Hukbo ng Bayan laban sa Hapon. Philippine Republic, the new republic. After the establishment of the Philippine independence in 1946, the problem of language remained. This became worse in certain areas. Thus, the Congress of the Philippines revised the tenancy law. President Manuel A. Rojas, 1946 to 1948, enacted the following laws. Republic Act No. 34 established the 730 sharing arrangement and regulatory shared tenancy contracts. Republic Act No. 55 provided for a more effective safeguard against arbitrary ejectment of tenants. Epilgio R. Quirino, 1948 to 1953, enacted the following law. Executive Order No. 355, issued on October 23, 1950, replaced the National Land Settlement Administration with Land Settlement Development Corporation, LASADECO, which takes over the responsibilities of the Agricultural Machinery Equipment Corporation and the Rice and Corn Production Administration. Ramon Magsaysay, 1953 to 1957, enacted the following laws. Republic Act No. 1160 of 1954 abolished the LASADECO and established the National Resettlement and Rehabilitation Administration, NARA, to resettle dissidents and landless farmers. It was particularly aimed at tribal returners providing home lots and farmlands in Palawan and Mindanao. Republic Act No. 1199, Agricultural Tenancy Act of 1954, governed the relationship between landowners and tenant farmers by organizing shared tenancy and leasehold system. The law provided the security of tenants. It also created the Court of Agrarian Relationship. Republic Act No. 1400, Land Reform Act of 1955, created the Land Tenure Administration (LTA), which was responsible for the acquisition and distribution of large tenanted rice and corn lands, over 200 hectares for individuals and 600 hectares per corporation. Republic Act 821, creation of Agricultural Credit Cooperative Financing Administration, provided small farmers and shared tenant loans with low interest rates of 6 to 8%. President Carlos P. Garcia, 1957 to 1961, continued the program of President Ramon Magsaysay. No new legislation passed. President Diosdado P. Macapagal, 1961 to 1965, enacted the following law. Republic Act No. 3844 of August 8, 1963, Agricultural Land Reform Code, abolished shared tenancy, institutionalized leasehold, set retention limit at 75 hectares, invested rights of free pension and redemption for tenant farmers, provided for an administrative machinery implementation, institutionalized the judicial system of agrarian cases, incorporated extension, marketing and supervised credit system of services of farmer beneficiaries. The RA was hailed as one that would emancipate Filipino farmer from the bondage of tenancy. President Ferdinand E. Marcos, 1965 to 1986. Proclamation No. 1081 on September 21, 1972, unshared the period of the new society. 5 days after the proclamation of martial law, the entire country was proclaimed a land reform area and simultaneously the Agrarian Reform program was decreed. President Marcos enacted the following laws. Republic Act No. 6389, Code of Agrarian Reform, and RA No. 6390 of 1971 created the Department of Agrarian Reform and the Agrarian Reform Special Account Fund. It strengthened the position of farmers and expanded the scope of agrarian reform. Presidential Decree No. 2, September 26, 1972, declared the country under Land Reform Program. It joined all agencies and offices of the government to extend full cooperation and assistance to the DAR. It also activated the Agrarian Reform Coordinating Council. President Decree No. 27, October 21, 1972, restricted the land reform scope to tenanted rice and corn lands and set the retention limit at 7 hectares. President Corazon C. Aquino, 1986 to 1992. The Constitution ratified by the Filipino people during the administration of President Corazon C. Aquino provides under Section 21 under Article 2 that the state shall promote comprehensive rural development and agrarian reform. On June 10, 1988, former President Corazon C. Aquino signed into law Republic Act No. 6657, or otherwise known as the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law. The law became effective on June 15, 1988. Subsequently, 4 presidential insurance were released in July 1987 after 48 nationwide constitutional before the actual law enacted. President Corazon C. Aquino enacted the following law. Executive Order No. 228, July 16, 1987, declared full ownership to qualified farmer the beneficiary covered by PD 27. It also determined the value remaining unvalued rice and corn land subject of PD 27 and provided for the manner of payment by the FBs and mode of compensation to landowners. Executive Number 229, July 22, 1987, provided mechanicals of implement the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program CARP. President Fidel B. Ramos, 1992 to 1998. When President Fidel B. Ramos formally took over in 1992, his administration came to face with publics who have lost confidence in the Agrarian Reform Program. His administration committed to the vision for a faster and more meaningful implementation of the Agrarian Reform Program. President Joseph E. Estrada, 1998 to 2000, Era para sa Mahirap. This was the battle cry that endeared President Joseph Estrada and made him very popular during the 1998 presidential election. President Joseph Estrada initiated the imperative of the following law. Executive Order Number 151 of September 1999 Farmers Trust Fund allowed the voluntary consolidation of small farm operation into medium and large scale integrated enterprise that can access long-term capital. During his administration, President Estrada launched the Magkabalikat para sa Kaunlaran, Agrario or Magsasaka, the door forged into joint venture with private investors into agrarian sector to make FBs competitive. However, the Estrada administration was short-lived. The measures who put him into office demanded for his outside. President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, 2000 to 2010, the Agrarian Reform Program under the Arroyo administration is anchored on the vision to make the countryside economically viable for the Filipino family by building partnership and promoting social. President Benigno Aquino III, 2010 to 2016. President Benigno Aquino III vowed during in 2012 his State of the Nation address that he would complete before the end of this term the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, CARP, the centerpiece program of the administration of his mother President Corazon Aquino. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, 2016 to present. Under his leadership, the presidents want to pursue an aggressive land reform program that will help alleviate the life of the poor Filipino farmers by prioritizing the provision of support services alongside land distribution. What is the purpose of agrarian reform? Agrarian reform means the distribution of lands regardless of crops of foods produced to farmers and regular farm workers who are landless irrespective or territorial arrangement to include the totality of factors and support services designed to lift the economic status of the beneficiary and all others arrangements, alternative to the physical redistribution of lands such as production or profit sharing, labor administration, and the distribution of shares or stocks, which will allow beneficiary to receive a just share of the fruits of the land they work. Why it is important? Agrarian reform in the Philippines seeks to solve the centuries-old problem of landlessness in rural areas. Land redistribution alone was not enough to liberate the small farmers from poverty and ensure the success of the CARP. Land reform will bring social justice. Land reform will help solve unemployment. Land reform will increase food productivity. Land reform will enhance the living condition of the poor farmers. Beneficiary. The Department of Agriculture, DA, through the Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation, PCIC, has partnered with the Department of Agrarian Reform, DAR, to provide some 17.1 billion worth of crop insurance protection to agrarian reform beneficiary, ARBs, over the next two cropping season. It aims to provide the agrarian reform farmers beneficiaries a safety net against crop pests and diseases as well as the increasingly unpredictable weather pattern brought on by the intensifying climate change over two cropping season this year. Of this target, beneficiary 99,580 are rice farmers stealing 178,801 hectares, 37,772 corn farmers, 72,506 hectares, and 85,760 commercial crop farmers, 78 and 633 hectares. Impact of access to land on food security and poverty. The case of Philippine Agrarian Reform. Agrarian reform in the Philippines seeks to solve the centuries-old problem of landlessness in rural areas through the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, CARP. Initiated in 1987, the government addressed key national goals, the promotion of equity and social justice, food security and poverty alleviation in the countryside after over 14 years of the CARP. However, the program is yet to be completed and it's currently burdened with major issues. from opposition by landlords and lack of support for legislation to wind gaps in fund resources. Various studies, however, have shown that agrarian reform has had a significant impact on farmer beneficiaries, increased per capita incomes, reduced poverty incidence.
Agrarian condition in the Philippines. Implementation of agrarian reform in Philippines. The implementation of agrarian reform proceeded at a very low pace. This was due to the lack of political will. The distribution of land was also very slow. Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law Philippines. The Republic Act No. 6657, alternatively called the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law, was signed by President Corazon C. Aquino on 10 June 1988. The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law is responsible for the implementation of the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, CARP in Philippines. The law focused on industrialization in Philippines together with social justice. For a long period of time, Philippine land was owned by the private sectors. This started during the Spanish regime, when the land was primarily owned by the large landlords and the friars. The Philippine farmers found it hard to acquire land during that time because the only basis for ownership is essential domainship. Agrarian rights were established during the American occupation, but only few initiatives were given and the rich families still continued to own the Philippine land. The first comprehensive agrarian reform order was attempted in the country in 1972, a month after the martial law. President Marcos issued Presidential Decree No. 27 making the Philippines a land. That's all guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. Bye bye!